Title: The Haunting of Djinn Manor. The wind howled through the twisted branches of the ancient oak trees that surrounded Djinn Manor, carrying with it a chilling sense of foreboding. It was a desolate place, tucked away in the heart of the English countryside, far from the prying eyes of civilization. The manor had stood for centuries, its dark history hidden beneath layers of ivy and moss. Legend had it that the manor was cursed, that it was built upon the burial grounds of an ancient tribe who worshipped the Djinn. These malevolent spirits, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead, were said to harbor a deep resentment for the living. Over the years, countless tales of unexplained phenomena had emerged, and the manor had become a place of dread and superstition. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the sprawling estate, a group of unsuspecting travelers arrived at Djinn Manor. Among them were Sarah and John, a young couple seeking adventure, and David, their skeptical friend, who had scoffed at the legends surrounding the place. "This place is ridiculous," David muttered as they made their way up the overgrown path leading to the manor. "I can't believe we're wasting our time on this ghost story nonsense." Sarah gave him an amused smile. "Come on, David. It's just a bit of fun. Besides, I heard there's a hidden treasure rumored to be in this place." John chuckled. "Yeah, a hidden treasure guarded by vengeful Djinn, according to the legend. Let's see if it's real." The trio reached the imposing front doors of the manor. The wood was rotting, and the hinges creaked ominously as they pushed them open. A wave of cold air rushed over them, sending shivers down their spines. Inside the manor was a labyrinth of decaying grandeur. Tattered tapestries hung from the walls, and cobwebs draped the chandeliers like ghostly veils. It was as if time had stood still, preserving the manor in a state of eerie decrepitude. They explored room after room, their footsteps echoing through the empty hallways. But as they delved deeper into the manor, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive. David's skepticism began to wane, replaced by a gnawing unease. In a dimly lit library, they discovered a book bound in ancient leather. The pages were filled with cryptic symbols and faded drawings of Djinn. Sarah traced her fingers over the pages, a sense of curiosity washing over her. As she did, a whispering breeze filled the room, and the book's pages began to turn on their own, stopping at a particular page that depicted a summoning ritual. "This is getting weird," David said, his voice trembling. John and Sarah exchanged nervous glances, but curiosity compelled them to continue. They decided to attempt the ritual, hoping it was just a spooky diversion. With trembling hands, they followed the instructions in the book, lighting incense and chanting words they couldn't comprehend. As they finished the incantation, a gust of wind rushed through the room, extinguishing the candles. Darkness enveloped them, broken only by a faint, ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from thin air. And then, before their disbelieving eyes, a figure materialized in the room. A Djinn. The Djinn's appearance was both captivating and terrifying. Its skin shimmered with an otherworldly blue hue, and its eyes glowed like twin sapphires. Its voice, when it spoke, was a haunting melody. "You have summoned me," the Djinn said, its voice echoing through their very souls. "What is your wish?" The three friends were paralyzed with fear, their minds racing. They had thought it was all just a game, but now they stood face to face with a being of legend. Sarah finally found her voice. "We didn't mean to summon you. We were just playing around. We don't want anything." The Djinn's eyes narrowed, and its form began to shift, taking on a more sinister aspect. "You have disturbed my slumber, and now you will suffer the consequences." With that, the Djinn disappeared, leaving them in the dark library. Panic gripped their hearts as they realized they were not alone. Whispers filled the room, and shadows danced in the corners of their vision. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in around them. They fled the library, racing through the manor's twisting corridors in a desperate bid to escape. But the manor itself seemed to conspire against them, shifting and changing like a living, malevolent entity. Doors slammed shut behind them, and ghostly apparitions appeared, blocking their way. As they stumbled into a decrepit ballroom, the Djinn materialized once more, its form more monstrous than before. "You will pay for your insolence," it hissed, raising its hands. In an instant, the room erupted in a nightmarish display of supernatural fury. Furniture levitated and spun, shattered glass filled the air, and the very walls seemed to bleed. Sarah, John, and David clung to each other, their screams drowned out by the chaos. In a final act of desperation, Sarah managed to recite a prayer she had heard long ago, one that was said to banish malevolent spirits. The room quivered, and the djinn let out a deafening shriek. It began to dissipate, its form disintegrating into a cloud of iridescent smoke. The room returned to a state of eerie calm, the horrors of moments before fading away. Sarah, John, and David were left breathless, trembling but alive. The djinn had been banished, but the manor still bore the scars of its malevolence. The trio hurriedly made their way out of Djinn Manor, their hearts heavy with the weight of what they had witnessed. They vowed never to speak of the horrors they had encountered, fearing that even the memory of the djinn might summon it once more. Djinn Manor remained a place of dread, hidden away in the English countryside, its secrets buried beneath layers of ivy and moss. The legend lived on, a cautionary tale for those who dared to seek adventure in the darkest corners of the world. A reminder that some stories are better left untold, and some places better left unexplored.